Welcome to this Earth Element Yin Yoga practice. The associated meridians are the stomach, the spleen. The season is late summer. The emotion is worry and sympathy. This element is about feeling grounded, a strong sense of trust, and feeling stable. All the poses chosen in this video will focus on the stomach and spleen meridian. It will also help you feel more grounded and feel more stable. Props needed are 2 blocks and a bolster. So go ahead and grab what you need and meet me on your mat. Hey there, welcome back. Bella and I are so glad to practice yoga with you today. Find our way onto our stomachs, legs extended straight behind you. Rest your arms down by your side, palms face up, or you can even place your hands underneath your forehead for more support. And once you've arrived into your prone pose, start to ground your body by feeling the connection of your whole front body with the mat, from the tops of your feet to your forehead. Slow down the breaths, feeling your belly expand into the mat with each inhale and softening with each exhale, letting go of unnecessary tension and allowing yourself to feel fully relaxed. As you hold this pose, I want you to think on the following reflection question. What does grounding mean to you? And how do you cultivate this feeling in your life? Slowly start to back out of the pose, lifting your head and chest as you slide your hands back. Elbows will be directly under your shoulders, forearms parallel and palms flat on the mat. Really start to lift through the chest as you relax your shoulders. Imagine lengthening the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone, feeling the expansion in your chest and abdomen as you inhale, and slowly melt into the pose as you exhale. While holding this pose, I want you to think on the following reflection question. In what areas in your life do you feel the most stable and secure? Start to come out of the pose, allowing the forehead to meet the mat, pressing up and taking a quick child's pose before we move into the next pose. Slowly start making your way up into a seated position where we'll head into the next pose, which is deer pose. You're in a seated position. Go ahead and slide your right foot forward so your shin is parallel to the side of the mat or the front of the mat, however you're seated. Then you'll rotate your left foot out, extending your left leg behind you until your left shin is parallel to the end of the mat or the back of the mat, however you're seated. You can use a blanket underneath that leg if your knees are sensitive. Hand on the knee as you rotate your chest and shoulders to the right. You want a little deeper of a stretch. You can fold forward towards the side of the front leg. You can also place a bolster under your chest for additional support. Now that you've found the position that's most comfortable in your body, I want you to start relaxing the muscles around your hips and lower back, tuning into the sensations in your body, especially around the hips and spine, allowing your body to soften into the pose. As you hold this pose, I want you to think on the following question: how do you nurture yourself and others? Start backing out of the pose, bringing the soles of the feet in towards one another, pulling the feet in towards the groin, extending the crown of the head and folding forward as we take a quick butterfly pose before moving off to the next side. Moving off to the next side, setting up the pose the same way you did on the other side. Again, using your bolster if you used it on the other side. taking a blanket and placing it underneath the right knee for more support. You can also walk your hands out, bending over that left leg. Reverse out of the pose, bringing the legs extended in front of you. Might feel nice to shake them out. Hinge at the hips and fold forward as we take a quick forward fold before heading off to the next pose. Start to make your way up into a kneeling position as we move off into the next pose, which is saddle. Now this pose is going to look differently for everyone according to your flexibility and range of motion. If you have sensitive knees, go ahead and place a blanket under each knee. If you're going to use blocks, go ahead and have them close by. Sitting on your heels with your knees together or slightly apart. Gently separate the feet so that they are slightly wider than your hips. As you create space for your hips, lower them between your feet. Extending your arms behind you, walking your hands towards the bolster or the blocks, whatever you're using here. Extending your tailbone towards your heels and lengthening your lower back. Keeping your legs flat on the ground. Head and neck straight. As you begin to lower yourself onto the bolster or floor, whatever your flexibility or range of motion allows you. Or you can simply just use your blocks here. As you relax into this pose, I want you to think about What are you doing to build a strong foundation for your future? Coming out of the pose, as you walk your hands out in front of you, taking a quick child's pose before we head off to our final pose, which is reclined butterfly. Moving up into a tabletop position, slowly lower down to your belly, resting your forehead on your hands. Taking just a few seconds here to take in your practice. Coming up and making your way to a seated position. For this pose, you can use your bolster, blocks, and blankets. Once in a seated position, grab your bolster and place it at your lower back. Soles of the feet in towards each other, pulling them into the groin, placing the blocks to support the knees, lower the body over the bolster. If you still have some gaps from your knee to the blocks, take the blanket and fold it, placing the blanket on top of the blocks to fill the gaps. Once you are settled into the pose, go ahead and close down the eyes. Allow your shoulders to melt into the mat, creating space between your ears and your shoulders, softening your belly, allowing yourself to relax, letting go of any tension. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other to open up your chest, creating space in the heart center. And just surrender to this pose, thinking on the final reflection question. How do you deal with challenges that shake your sense of stability? Start to bring the awareness back to your body, sliding the legs long, possibly wiggling your fingers and your toes. It also might feel nice to take a full body stretch. And when you're ready, go ahead and make your way off to your favorite side. Make your way up to a seated position. Eyes remain closed, where we'll take one final breath together to close out our practice. Arms down by your side, inhaling the arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale as you bring them in towards heart center. I want to thank you for sharing your yin practice with me today. I hope this practice brings you more grounding and stability in your life. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.